Good morning, everybody. This is Pete Draxler from letpeteplan@gmail.com, an agent for Boardwalk Travel Agency, and a Disney enthusiast. Yesterday, my wife and I put out a video on Magic Kingdom. It was our second in the series for Magic Kingdom. Next week, we're going to be starting to talk about Hollywood Studios. Now, with that said, we're going to kind of do a small recap. If you've watched the video already, you probably have some questions about certain things that didn't quite make the cut on our favorite attractions, least favorite attractions, once-in-a-lifetime attractions, once-in-a-lifetime experiences. I'm here to clear that up. They didn't make it because they didn't really fall into any one of those categories, except for maybe one of them that I'm going to start off with talking about, and that is Space Mountain. My wife has never ridden Space Mountain. I have twice. The first time I thought was going to be my last time. It was on Christmas Eve night, 2008, with my oldest son, Nick. He was 10 at the time. He had just turned 10. He had a great day because Santa Claus even said, "Hey, Nick, how you doing?" And he couldn't understand how he knew his name. And I go, "Well, it's Santa Claus." Also didn't hurt that he was wearing a button saying Nick on it, because it was there was two things. We were kind of celebrating his birthday, and along with Jesus's, and his first time going to Disney World. And it was a first time for everybody. So all our kids got a celebration button. And he also got to help steer the Jungle Cruise. And this was before the time, I think, that they ever did the Jingle Cruise. Because I can't recall it being the Jingle Cruise. And it would have been if my watch is just asking me if I want to work out. But with that said, we had ridden the Barnstormer, which was our very first roller coaster, which I told you about it in that it's kind of a nostalgic pick for me. That's one I like to go and visit every once in a while. And then he got in his head that he wanted to try Space Mountain. Okay. Now, I'm not the biggest thrill ride guy ever. I will ride on some of them. I've ridden on some mainly because my kid asked me to, or wanted to go with me. That's the way with Guardian of the Galaxy and also Expedition Everest. Those two are, they're not mine. Now, do I think they're good? Okay, back to Space Mountain. Well, Space Mountain ends up on that fateful day in 2008 to be a deterrent to my son wanting to try many thrill rides until later, when he is a full-blown teenager and wants to try them. But I remember at the end, we're going back to visit Corey, Wyatt, and Jewel at the Emporium, and he looks up at me and he goes, "Dad, I don't feel good." And I was going like, "Buddy, I could tell you, I don't either." It's a cool ride. I think it's a ride that you should all try at least once, unless you're really get motion sickness or have a bad back. That's my excuse now. I rode on it again when we went with some family, some friends, and some of the people wanted to try it, and Nick and I go, oh, okay, we'll go with you. My daughter won't ride it, I don't think. But so we did that. The other thing is this, staying in Tomorrowland, the racetrack, the bumper cars, or whatever you want to call them, go-karts, Tomorrowland Speedway. That's cool. Usually has pretty long line. I don't know why either. People complain about it online all the time, about how it smells because of it's fun. It's a cute little jaunt around the track. I've gone on a few times. I don't go on it every time. As a matter of fact, I don't really even do it every other time. So it's one of those things just kind of fell through the cracks there. Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. This has become more of a seasonal thing. It's not always there. I think it's a kind of a time it's on when they need to disperse some of the crowd. It's in Tomorrowland. It's cute. I compare it. I don't think it is as good as Muppets Vision 3D, but it's kind of like that same aspect. You are sitting there in a show performed by, in this case, the people from the monsters from Monsters Inc. It's cute. They use how I put it, elementary school / early middle school humor. Like, how do you make a tissue dance? Put a little boogie in it. But it's cute. It's cute. Every once in a while. So, that's that. Then we go over towards Liberty Square, and I think about it, the Hall of Presidents. I'm a history buff. I like to see it. It is interesting to see. Of course, after every new president is elected, they shut it down for a while to build up their animatronics so that it could do it. If I'm talking in a pure historical reference, it's really good. It is not, however, my favorite of that genre. That would be the American Experience in American Adventure in Epcot, in the American Pavilion, especially if you can get there ahead of time and watch the Voices of Liberty sing before the show. But back to Magic Kingdom. Of course, that's in Liberty Square, in the building that looks like this place where they signed the Declaration in 1776. Now, travel down a little bit, go to on Frontierland to the Country Bear Jamboree. If you're a fan of adult humor, and I don't want to say raunchy, although it can be, if you get the true meaning of it, it could be a little raunchy. But the Country Bear Jamboree is really cool, and it's also a cool place to sit down and relax. And you're gonna laugh, you're gonna join along, you might sing along to some of the songs, but that's that. It's one of my daughter's favorites. I found out today. And then I think the only other one we're going to talk about, well, two, I should say. Two we're going to talk about is Peter Pan's Flight. And that is probably, in my opinion, the most overrated attraction in all of Walt Disney World. It always has a huge line. Don't know why. I don't think it's that good. My daughter's that way too. My wife's that way too. It, for a long line, it doesn't, in my opinion, deliver the goods. Kind of like in my mind of Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Not something I would want to stay in line for a long time, and chances are you're going to have to stay in line for a long time. Mickey's PhilharMagic is right there, but that's not the one we'll talk to you about. And then one that you should always go on at least once in your lifetime, especially if you have kids, and that's Dumbo. It's kind of a rite of passage for Disney World. If you've seen any advertisement for Disney and Magic Kingdom, it always includes Dumbo. You can say the same thing about the carousel, not the Carousel of Progress, but the actual carousel, which, by the way, is the oldest attraction on Disney World because it was actually built in the early 1900s and purchased by Disney later on. If you know, if that helps you out, then that's done. Now, a couple things I want to talk to you about. Tomorrow, it was supposed to be today. I changed it to tomorrow. One is the weather is pretty iffy today. If you look on the hour by hour at Lake Buena Vista, Walt Disney World, Orlando, weather's pretty iffy, and we are going to Animal Kingdom. So I just don't think it would behoove us to Animal Kingdom is one of those parks where weather kind of shuts a few things down. It's fun, don't get me wrong. However, for what we're doing, and it's just me, Nick and Wyatt going tomorrow. My wife has to work. Somebody has to around here. But that is that we also have an ulterior motive to pick up the annual pass magnets too. So hopefully we'll have more annual passes by the time magnets by the time we get done. We might make a quick trip into Disney's Hollywood Studios for me to do some research. Oh, I hate my job. And to either that or we might go to Disney Springs. However, I think we'll probably make at least a little quick jaunt into Hollywood Studios. If for some reason I can get on today and pick up a dinner reservation at a certain restaurant I have not ever tried yet. Then again, it's also the newest restaurant in Hollywood Studios. The Roundup Rodeo barbecue place at Toyland. That might also determine whether we go to Hollywood Studios or not either also. With that said, kind of told you a lot of the news that is happening. We're getting closer and closer to the opening of the Epcot Food and Wine, International Food and Wine Festival, presented by Corksicle 2023. And we'll definitely do a early, well, I shouldn't say early, but I'll definitely try to get in sometime soon after it opens up to give you kind of a hint of what's going on. But with that said, if you or anyone you know has a wish to plan or book a vacation at either Walt Disney World or Universal Orlando, Disneyland, whatever, contact me, Pete Trackstrom, at Let Pete Plan at gmail.com. And with that said, here's wishing you a magical day. Goodbye.